Hello all, this is your Professor Ian. This is a short video where I'm just going to do a couple things. I'm going to remind you right off the bat, next week we are working on our peer editing process for essay number 2. And that's going to start with a discussion of your reading portfolio. This is that Wakelet project you've been hopefully putting together the last few weeks on, based on the text we've been reading on, the theoretical underpinnings of public space and how we can think about public space and imagine communities and how we create this kind of community. So hopefully you've been working on that. Next week we're going to discuss that first and then discuss our rough drafts for essay number 2. So it's kind of a 2-part peer editing session. The first part starts on Monday. And that's the main reason I'm sending this video out, is because I don't use Monday deadlines. I always try to stick with the same deadlines, of Sunday, or if we do peer editing, that Wednesday to Friday thing, to keep consistency. But this week, because we're doing this extra process, we have a Monday deadline. And so I just want to make sure this is super crystal clear. On Monday, by 11:59 p.m., you need to post your reading portfolio to the discussion forum. And you can find that, where are we? If we come down, modules to week 9, right? Portfolio discussion is right here. I have it open. It's just a discussion forum. So all you need to do is cut and paste the URL to your Wakelet project here in the, in the discussion forum. Make sure it's set to public or else people cannot see it. Paste your URL here, and then you have until Wednesday, and that's Wednesday, March 9th, to look over 2 of your peers and leave a couple comments. You can do this right away. The sooner the better. You don't have to leave it till last minute. The idea here is that you post your reading portfolio, you get a little bit of feedback from your peers, and then you use that to help you revise your rough draft, which is basically using all the material from that to create an essay. So this is kind of a 2-part rough draft peer editing session. That's how I envision this playing out, right? You present your material first in the form of your reading portfolio. That's kind of your rough draft. You get some feedback, hopefully, and use that as you're putting together your rough draft. And you post your rough draft on Wednesday, 11:59 p.m. and get some feedback by Friday, and then revise a little bit more, and you have your final draft by Sunday. So that's how I envision that happening. Remember, Monday deadline for that. For the portfolio instructions, there are 6 texts you need to cover. You must cover each one of these texts in your reading portfolio and your essay number 2. And essay number 2. For each of these, you need to provide 3 things: an MLA entry, a brief summary, paragraph at most, right? It should be like a chunky paragraph, especially maybe for, like the Hobsbawm essay and, some of the more intricate essays. And obviously you can't cover every detail in those essays. That the Hobsbawm one is, like 20-ish pages and very, very complicated ideas. Or the one we're reading this week on temporary memorials has a lot of like specific examples of different different memorials and memorializations. So you need to avoid just trying to capture everything and all the evidence. Instead, focus on the big ideas. You only have a paragraph to summarize. So MLA entry, summary, and then a brief statement about your reaction to the text. So as I say here, 2 sentences long, should focus on one specific idea. Okay? Just one specific idea, being very specific. Again, you can't cover everything in these essays and react to it all in 2 sentences. It's just, you're not going to be able to do that. That's not a feasible task. So you need to limit yourself and think, what was the one thing I really liked or really disliked or really found interesting or was really confused by and want clarification? Any of these things are fine, but it needs to be specific, and it needs to be thoughtful too. You can't just say, I didn't understand how the author used this word on page 3, and leave it at that. You can complicate it. You can say, I think that they're using it wrong because this and that reason, or I like I was intrigued by the way they're using this word because it really broadened my thinking about X topic, right? You need to be thoughtful and specific in this third part, your brief statement about your reaction to the text. So that's what you need to do for each text. So basically you need to do 18 things, 18 little tasks in your reading portfolio. Sounds like a lot, but It's not that much, and hopefully you've been working on it this whole time, because that's going to cut down on the work. Last couple days ago, I posted a link to a Wakelet project that a student did for me in my world literature class last semester on Beowulf. This one was a good example. She did a very good job. And it was a very similar task I was putting to the class, but it was not the exact same. So be aware of that, right? So one thing I would point out, like, notice the graphics. It's a nice visual touch. This is a visual medium, so feel free to do that. I think that helps you as a creator take creative ownership over the project as well. And then, so, in this project, the student has an MLA formatted entry. And, Wakelet isn't perfect with formatting. It's not really designed for this for MLA formatting and stuff. So this isn't perfect in terms of formatting. There should be a hang indent, should be double spaced. But that's fine. I'm not going to be marking your MLA specificity, like the MLA conventions for these entries, because it just doesn't translate to Wakelet. But it's there, and that way you can put it in your works cited page for essay number 2, right? So this is part of that 2-part process. And then for this one, I just asked them to do summaries. So this is an example of an annotated bibliography done through Wakelet, basically, which is kind of what you're doing for essay number 2. So they have an MLA entry and then a summary, right? Notice how she's using speaker tags in this article, Malik, although she should be using the last name of the author. It should be Zura Kayat, I don't know how you pronounce that, but the last name in this article, Zura Kayat, describes, but anyways, using speaker tags, trying to get to the heart of the argument, only one paragraph, right? So anyways, it's a good example of basically what yours should look like. Again, I'm asking you to do 3 things: the entry, the summary, and then another brief statement at the end, charting your reaction to it. So this is just kind of a visual example that's not quite perfect, but should give you an idea of what to shoot for. Anyways, that's about it for now. If you have any questions or concerns, please do email me. I'll be around all weekend marking, and I can't promise I'll get back to you immediately, but I will get back to you if you have questions before Monday. Remember, Monday is when this is due for peer editing. Okay, thank you very much.